There is no destination. The goalposts are always going to move. It's never going to be enough. It's just literally how we are wired evolutionary as human beings to continuously push ourselves further to better the lives for our family, better lives for human beings, right? So, I think part of it is now you're coming into that phase of your career too, where you're like, I have enough and I can take my foot off the gas a little bit, and start to understand, and really cliche, but understand how to work smarter, not harder. And I think that's part of it too, is that in the last 10 years, we're able to be so much more hyper productive if you are focused, right? If you are not distracted, if you're not on social media and, spending time on YouTube all day, which I'll sometimes do. But if you are focused, you can do a month's worth of work in 3 days, which wasn't possible 10, 20 years ago. So we now have these opportunities to run very successful, great businesses for clients and for customers, but also not have to kill ourselves and still make a lot of money, We're just in this very amazing time now. And I think it's important to realize that you can push and push and push, but you're never going to get anywhere. You're just going to spin your wheels. There's always going to be more, you're always going to want more. You set a goal to hit 1 million, you hit 1 million, the goalposts have already moved before you get there. You hit that goal of doing 1 million and it means nothing, literally nothing. Like you hit $1 million and like, oh, this doesn't feel like I thought it was. Maybe we need to get to 10 million, so the goalposts are always going to move. So I think part of it is understanding that like, you got to enjoy what you're doing and you got to question these things a little bit deeper, not just hustle, because it's to what end, for what, you can't take it with you when you go at the end of the day.
You realize that in business, there's a good analogy that I heard a while ago of business as being like running a race and finishing the race. And your prize for finishing the race is they grab you by the shoulders and take you over to the starting line of another race. And I was like, that resonates. And it's just like, okay, cool. And I think once we can explain these things, we can talk about these things, we can give examples, and we will, but like, it's one of those things you have to experience that, where you're like, you hit a milestone, you do a thing, you get a number of followers, you get a number of email subscribers, clients, money, whatever. And then it's like, all right, it is just, now I'm starting the next race. And you do that 2 or 3 times and all of a sudden your brain kind of acclimates and you're like, all right, I got it. I'm curious, around things like work-life balance. I want to talk about how we schedule and how we prioritize,
Sure.
But I'm also super curious about this maybe first. So we'll just follow my personal curiosity. How do you handle lifestyle creep? As you make more money or as you get more freedom, more margin in your life, as you're able to like have more agency over your life, how do you handle like not just continually mapping to that and then eventually looking around and being, this isn't what I want? Because you had, transparently, like you had all the stuff. You had that ridiculous apartment or home with the glass windows and everything.
It's kind of funny because we were talking before about, how when you're around people that make a lot of money, there's a lot of benefits too, but there's also a lot of downsides, because what it does, it also, again, as humans, it's like that cliche saying, once you start sitting business class or flying private, you're not going back to coach. It's really hard for humans to take a step back in lifestyle, right? And I think I understood that, the house that we live in now is amazing too. We're spending a good amount of money. We're finishing a pool, whole backyard. But at the end of the day, when we bought this house, me more so, we bought it knowing that the monthly payment here would be something that in 1 month of my income, I can pay for the whole year, literally 1 month. So it gives us kind of that security blanket, knowing that no matter what, we're going to be okay. We're going to be taken care of. We'll not only be able to live, but we'll be able to live comfortably at the same lifestyle that we're at. The lifestyle creep is tough, again, because I live in Miami, number one. We're surrounded by an incredible amount of wealth and excess. And it's just part of the lifestyle here. It really is. It's part of the lifestyle. Also surrounded by a bunch of very successful folks who are making a lot more money than I am, who are living their lives. It's tough. Keeping up with the Joneses is a very real thing. I always constantly remind myself, I'm very fortunate that the way I was brought up and how I was brought up and the circumstances that I'm just grounded in knowing that those things are not going to change how I feel about myself or any other thing like that. I've done enough work mentally over the years to know that, yes, I will always spend more and more and more based on this. When we went to Europe, we blew it out. We blew it out, right? But at the same time, I understand that me going out and buying a car, which I can afford 5 times what I'm paying now, isn't going to make any difference. It's like, to me, especially when you dig into the really cores of the why, like, why did these things matter to you? It's about status. It's about attention. And I don't care about those things because I understand that I'm comfortable with myself. I'm comfortable with my relationship, and I don't give a shit what other people think about us because I know how much I make and I know the value that I bring. It's something that I'm very adamant and stubborn about. And I think a lot of people, you have to get to that point. It comes with age and comes with maturity. It also comes with maybe making some money and spending it and realizing that you don't feel any better. And if you're fortunate enough to keep making it or make it back, then a lot of people do go through that change. I was just very fortunate that I just kind of had that mindset. Like, I've never really gone through a period where I've spent above my means. And it's partially also owning a small business where I've never taken money from other people. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, if I have the right idea, I'll definitely take money from other people. But the businesses that I run, it's almost kind of a point of pride where I don't take other people's money. And because of that, I invest my own money. And one of the things that I've always done is keep my personal finances like my business's finance. I have a P&L for my own personal finances, which I treat like a business. And, me and my wife were sitting down last night and talking about how much cash we have left over from last year and what we want to invest it in, right? Not what we want to spend it on, but what we want to invest it in. Do we want to buy another house in Airbnb? Do we want to put more into this investment opportunity that I had with Jeter? Again, not how do we spend it, how do we invest it? And I think it's also important being with the right partner, right? The right person for you, that you're on the same page with that stuff. And it's hard. It's not easy, but again, I think I got caught earlier. I had some friends who made a lot of money in the internet game, spent it and went back to nothing. And I saw it and I was like, that will never happen to me, bro. It's not, can't happen. So yeah, I think part of it comes with age and maturity, and also understanding that the accumulation of things, as cliche as it is, they don't make you feel any better about yourself. In fact, they usually create a deeper void, an unhealthy void that is calling out for something external for validation when you don't need it. Those things don't make you feel any better. And a lot of people are like, oh, I love cars. I'm like, that's great. I'm sure that you do. But and you do get a boost from buying something nice and treating yourself to something nice, but it wears off. And then what happens? You normalize, and then you just spend $100,000 on a car. Now you got to spend $200,000 on a car, and then $300,000. It's an endless vicious cycle that is just about the validation of others. And it goes back to what we're talking about with imposter syndrome. You have to understand that the opinions of other people, especially in our consumer driven culture, do not matter. And even if they give you your opinion, I promise they only think about you for a split second, then they're back to think about themselves.